Hi, I'm Vicky Moore and I work for the Birmingham Occupational Lung Disease Service. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to complete your peak flows that you've been sent to have a look if there's any work-related problem with your breathing. So you may have been sent these in the post or you may have got them from your appointment at the chest clinic. But hopefully what you've got is a peak flow meter, some cards to write everything down on. So you should have 4 of these because you're going to complete 4 weeks worth. An instruction sheet of how to fill out the cards themselves, and an instruction sheet about how to do the blows and how to use the meter. So if we start with the charts of filling out your forms. This here, if we go through this step by step, each number on here represents some information on the back there, and we're going to go through each part of that information. So number 1 is about filling in the date every day in the top box, the time you wake up every day, the time you start work every day, time you finish work every day, and the time you go to bed every day. When you're not at work, if you can write off in the box so that we know that you haven't just forgotten to fill something in. The next box down is the jobs done box. Now, some of you may be doing the same thing every day, so if you can just write down what your job role is in there, that'd be great. But some of you may be doing different things each day or different things within a day, which might mean that if you're in one place, for example, on a factory floor, that might make a difference to your breathing compared to when you're in an office environment, for example, or away on a course for the day. So any information in there would be really helpful. It's a very small box, so please feel free to utilize the treatment with times box as well, or a separate piece of paper if necessary. So on to the treatment with times box. Most of you will either be on no treatment, you might be on a once daily preparation, a twice daily preparation, or an as and when you need it preparation, or a mixture of those. You don't need to write it down every day. So just pop it in the first box, and then ideally you'll be keeping those inhalers or those medications the same every day. For the ones that you take in the morning, please do your peak flow before you use your inhaler. And then the ones that you can take throughout the day, do your peak flow first and then use your inhaler. So even if it's not time to do a peak flow, please do an extra one for us, because it might be that your breathing has reduced and we want to measure that and see what's going on. So onto the grid here. This goes from 1 in the morning till midnight, and the idea is that then it can be used for whatever shift you're working. So for example, if you're on a day shift, you might be working 8 till 4. Now, ideally, we ask for readings to be taken every 2 hours, but for some of you, if you're on a production line, for example, that might be quite difficult. So if you can fit it in with your working day. So first thing in the morning when you wake up, do your 3 measurements, write down the highest one in the box. Then do another one when you arrive at work, even if they're quite close together. Then do them in any breaks that you have at work. So anytime you go and get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or have a sandwich, do them in those breaks. Then when you finish work, at the end of work, before your evening meal, and at bedtime. And that will give us 6 to 8 readings spread throughout the day, which would be ideal. Now, you might be doing different shifts, in which case you might have different patterns each day, and that's absolutely fine. Just write in your times in the top. And on a night shift, you might find that you wake up, for example, 3 in the afternoon and you do your blows there. Then you might get another one in before you start work. So you might have a meal and then you start work perhaps at 9 o'clock. And then you'll be doing readings through the night. And we would expect you, if you're on a Monday night shift, to go on to the Tuesday morning to complete your blows there until you finish doing them in your break times, until you finish work and then go to bed. Then you would have a gap and then start again. So as long as you write in your times, we'll be able to work out what you're up to on that grid. The other things to write down is if you have a cold, then please pop that in, probably in the treatment box. So having a cold that might go onto your chest or might just stay in your nose might affect your peak flow. If it's quite bad, it might be worth stopping doing the peak flow readings until you feel better, because all that will happen is your peak flow will go down and it won't be very nice for you to complete it. But please put as much information on there that you think is relevant for us to know that might have affected these tests. So as I say, you're getting 4 of these. So you've got to do days at work and days off. They're both as equally as important. Now, your days off are going to be more difficult than your days at work because you haven't got that regiment that you've got on a work day. So ideally, we want the peak flow readings done at similar times, but I'm fully aware that you won't always wake up at the same time, for example, and you'll be doing other things. The peak flow meter, I'm afraid, has to become your friend, and you have to love it a little bit and get a bit obsessive, because it will drive you a little bit mad. It's lots and lots of effort. We totally understand it's lots of effort, but it is the best way for us to see what is going on at work and when there's that difference between when you're at work and when you're at home. So sometimes you may miss a reading as well. Don't worry if you miss a reading. We don't want lots and lots of massive gaps, obviously, but don't worry if you miss a reading. Just do the next one as soon as you remember. We would expect gaps, obviously, while you're sleeping. We don't expect you to get up when you're asleep to carry on doing the reading. So this is only from waking to going to bed. So completing the blows themselves. So this sheet tells you how to complete the blows, and I'm just going to go through with you what the instructions say. So first of all, we'll take the peak flow meter out, and this is what you get. It says ensure the indicator is set to 0. So that's the indicator there, that red part, and we've popped it right to the bottom here. And then stand or sit in good posture. So what we mean by that, if you're sitting down, sit up nice and straight. It says to take a deep breath in as deep as possible, place a mouth around the mouthpiece and close your lips tightly and blow out as hard and as fast as you can. So when you hold the meter, we want your fingers out the way of this gauge so that that pointer can shoot up without any obstruction. So if we go for a blow now, so nice, short, sharp blow as hard and as fast as you can. You're trying to get that indicator as far up as possible. Now, the numbers go up in 50s, but there are smaller lines in between, which are in increments of 10. So my pointer there, it looks like it's around, it's probably between the second and third line above the 400. So we could either write down 420 or 430 on that. I'd probably go for 430. I think it's slightly nearer to that one on there. You'll notice that the gaps in the increment lines are more widely spread at the bottom and tighter spread at the top. And that's just because of how the blow needs to be measured to make it accurate. So now it says return the indicator to 0, and you're going to do the blow 3 or more times so that you get the highest 2 readings within 20 litres per minute. So this is measured in litres per minute. So I've got 430 on my first one. I'm now going to do my second. So again, best effort. And I think that one is very similar and probably about 430 as well. And then we're going to do a third one. So big breath in. Another one. And again, I think I've been pretty consistent. That's probably slightly nearer to the 420. So I've got 2 430s, 1 420. So I'm going to write the highest one down on my cards. Now the time is about 20 past 9. So I'm going to pop it in the 9 o'clock box, and it's a Thursday. So I'm going to pop it on the grid system on a Thursday in the 9 o'clock box, and I would write down 430 in that box. So then 2 hours later, I would go for doing another one, or whenever I was having my breaks, if I'm at work. Regarding the back of the cards, so on the back, there's some more information about completing these, but some of the important boxes are making sure you've got your name on there every day, on each record card. The company that you work for would be useful on at least one of the cards, and your job title on at least one of the cards. We should have written your name on each card, and also probably popped a patient identifier number on the top there as well. If you know that and it's not written, can you pop that on as well? If you could pop your date of birth on one card, and if you know your height in centimetres, that would be really useful too. Now, the cards actually say on them to, when you've completed all of them, that you would post them back to the Birmingham Chest Clinic. We've had a few issues with receiving readings. So what we're now actually asking people to do is email them. So if you can either scan in your readings or take a picture of each card and send them to me at vicky.moore@uhb.nhs.uk, that'll ensure that I get those readings here. If you are going to post them, please send them recorded delivery, or the other option is to bring them to clinic with you. So that's 4 weeks of cards from waking to going to bed, ideally every 2 hours, or fit it in with your working day, working shift, and days at work and days off. Keeping your treatment similar each day, peak flow before treatment, if you need your inhalers, and when you take them in the morning, and writing down as much information as is possible. The peak flow meter is yours. We don't want that back. Please keep hold of that. You may need to repeat this process at some point, so keep it in a safe place, but not too safe a place that you can never find it again. We look forward to seeing you. More information is available on our website, which is www.occupationalasthma.com, or of course you can email me if you have any problems as well. Thanks.